Hi, I'm Andy Tyler, Partner Marketing Manager at Reapit. Welcome to Apps in the Spotlight, featuring a Reapit partner with a live app in the AgencyCloud app market. Today, I'm joined by Alex and Milton from IRE. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Okay, so let's start a little bit with a bit of background. Could you introduce yourselves and just tell us a bit about the history of the business?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Alex. I joined IRE in December. I moved across from property. So before I was working with IRE, I was a lettings manager and have been around estate agency for 11 years. So that's kind of where my background comes from. Outside of work, I run numerous charities and soup kitchens up in North London, which is where I'm based. And that's kind of my farm. And that's my history.
I'll go next. My name is Milton, so you can probably hear from my accent, so I'm not from his neck of the woods, Australian native, Antipodean at heart, but a very similar, but not as, I guess, lengthy tenure in the property sort of game. I did about probably four and a bit years working direct in property before I came over here. So I have an inventory business in London. I worked for Utilities Connections as well. So another parallel working in Australia, but predominantly in property management and lettings. And the background of the whole company, we used to have a company called prorentals.com.au. It was it was small, but actually was one of I think it was the third largest independent agency in the East Coast of Australia. Sort of many moons ago, and in that kind of growth period, we had a lot of I guess teething issues and problems and bottlenecks, and one of those problems was keys. So we kind of started building our own in-house tech, and so what do tech companies know, right? They know nothing. So we kind of started building ourselves because we knew our problems and we knew how to build it. So and that kind of then shaped the future of the last kind of 13-14 years in our tech journey, which was in Australia. We moved across the ditch over to New Zealand, and I convinced Andrew Reese, the CEO, to bring it over here about 4 years ago now, and here we are talking to you in the Reapit customer base.
What problem are you trying to solve here?
Well, I mean, over the years and years of experience that I've had, keys is one of the big problems in estate agency. We all still need them. We all still have to get into Victorian built buildings and through doors that never existed before. So keys are always going to be a problem, and they're always going missing or inevitably hung up on wrong hooks, left in somebody's car. They've been given to a contractor and we've scribbled down their number on a piece of paper somewhere, but we then can't read the number. So it's to stop the problems of lost keys costing your business time, of missed viewings, lost instructions maybe because the owner or the vendor's got upset with you. You have to change the locks quite occasionally, quite often, and all these problems I've experienced multiple times. I've probably been the cause of the problem more often in the solution. So that's the initial issue. And every estate agency in the UK has some sort of key holding, and at some point there's normally an issue with that.
So you now have an app in the AgencyCloud app market. What does being part of the Reapit universe mean to you?
I guess it means a few things. The most important thing is obviously helping people within the Reapit customer base, access the technology that was being driven. Another little bit of an interlude as well, how we got to this point. Our software engineer and general manager of KeyWhere, Mitchell Fullerlove, he actually had a car accident with our CTO, but he was actually finishing his engineering degree in the University of Queensland. They left notes, and then they had a chat on the phone and said, "Oh, can you build this particular bit of technology?" And he said, "Well, what are you studying?" He said, "Oh, well, I'm tracking drugs in a hospital." And then Andrew said, "Well, if you can track drugs in a hospital, do you think you could track keys in an agency?" And that was kind of the very first premise of how KeyWhere was kind of birthed, I guess you could say. So it was really like understanding agency problems and really speaking to them, and because unique problems require unique solutions. So hopefully with partnership with Reapit, we can really help drive that kind of efficiency, as Alex mentioned before, and get rid of all of those problems around key management for good.
So let's talk about the app. So let's assume that I am an agent. I've seen your app in the app market. I've downloaded it, and I'm now going to start using it. What happens next?
Well, the most important thing is that you sort of connect with us. The app does a simple version of tracking your keys, so you can manage them going where, to and from, and you can kind of keep an eye on them digitally. One of the best parts of our platform, and what makes us unique to some of the other competitors, is the keyboard that you can see behind me. So these are smart boards. They're sort of, you put them up in your office, and you can see they've got all nice flashing lights and hooks and fobs in them. So what this allows us to do is track your keys in real time. So when the keys are on the board, or when they go missing from the board, or when they've been signed out, you know exactly where they are at all times. With some of kind of the day-to-day management of keys, it can be quite difficult to just visually reconcile where these things are. As I say, things might be put on wrong hooks. So just by looking at the board, you'll know from the colors and the lights where your keys are and what needs your attention. So the best thing to do is, once you've got that app downloaded, yes, of course, you can manage your keys digitally, but let's have a conversation. Let's see if the boards might be of help to you as well.
So we've installed the app. We've now got one of your boards in the office. What information is appearing in AgencyCloud? And presumably you're drawing information from AgencyCloud and pulling it across to your software. Sure. Does it push back again? And if so, how? What information do I see in AgencyCloud?
So the first version or iteration of our integration is to understand and get all that data, like key data, property data, borrower data. So, contractors, staff members into the system, so we know who's going to be transacting and what they're transacting with the KeyWhere system. So that's a real simple few clicks buttons through in the KeyWhere platform, and all that existing live data pulls through into the key system. And then it's just a key allocation process to the KeyWhere panel. We have future iterations that we'll be able to push live statuses into the AgencyCloud. But we don't want to sell too much vaporware, but we definitely want to do things that our agents, our mutual clients really want us to do. And that's really where that kind of drive goes with all the features we've ever onboarded with. So we'll have future iterations of what goes back into the system based on what clients want.
So we're at sort of version 1 at the moment. This is stage 1, and there's a plan to make it more advanced as time moves on.
Absolutely. So the more that clients, ask about things, we'll definitely put it on, it prioritizes what gets done with our KeyWhere software team.
What's the competition like in this space? Are there other providers doing the same thing?
Yeah, there are other providers doing a similar thing, which is key management. Of course, the way that they deal with it and they track them is very different to us. Our boards are probably the main differentiator between us all in this software system. We've tried to create a solution that we're not able to get around, because a lot of times it's laziness or it's kind of the inefficiencies with people using the software, which, I mean, if you're not using the software correctly, there's no point tracking them. So, with our solution with the boards and the software together, we're making sure that there's no loopholes. You can't get around it. You can't just go and take them off the hook and just take them out without signing them out. We've got alarms, we've got flashing lights, we've got email alerts, so that there's no way of kind of cheating the system.
Right. I mean, it sounds like you almost answered the question, but if I was in the market for a key system, I'm looking at various different options, why would I choose you? What is it that makes you stand out from the rest?
Yeah, I mean, that's simply the reason, is that we have a solution that there is no way around. I have been looking at the other solutions that are there and available, and the ways that you can use those. And whilst they're great at what they do, what we do is very different, and we kind of have a more secure system.
And the cost, how much does this cost?
So that depends on how big you are and how many keys you hold, of course. So this little panel behind me is a small demo panel. The big ones inside your agency are much, much larger, and they hold sort of a whole bunch of keys, and they're big units that fill the wall. So each panel is $695 per panel. And then for the monthly subscription, it starts from £45 a month and sort of goes up depending on how much data transfer we're using and how many keys you're holding. So again, it depends on the size of your business, but that's the starting point.
It sounds like a really neat, simple business solution to a problem that any agent will recognize. Where are you going with this? And not just the app, but in terms of, as far as your business is concerned, what does the future hold?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to strengthen ourselves with the partnership that we have with Reapit and AgencyCloud. So to give you kind of a bit of a mud map of what we have planned, actually before our integration with the Reapit Foundations platform. So deeper integrations is definitely one which will facilitate based on, I guess, customer driving for those particular things. But one thing we want to do as well is, which is on the cards already, which is GPS functionality. So we are very confident that we track absolutely everything. We know exactly where your keys are, and no one can bypass the system, as Alex mentioned. But where are your keys? If someone, I don't want to say staff, but, contractors and sometimes staff may drop them or lose them accidentally. So rather than having that awkward conversation with your vendors and your landlords and say, it's okay, we replaced it, and that kind of, they lose that, you take a debit out of the emotional bank account, as we used to say. With that relationship, you don't have to worry. We'll have that facility where they can just ping a location and we'll be able to triangulate it for them so they can go and pick them up and put them back on the board, dust off, take the mud off, and crack on with normal services normal. And the other thing that we're doing with the KeyWhere, with the Reapit platform, is another app we're releasing is our inquiry management system. So the keys will actually talk live to a live booking system for allowing people to book viewings, provided the keys are actually in the office and available on that time the booking's made. So taking efficiencies to another level with different departments as well.
And finally, is there anything you'd like to add before we close?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is, we're really big on everything that we've built. It sounds kind of cliche, but the truth is, when we first released KeyWhere, it's a really kind of rudimentary spreadsheet looking software. and what they see today is a huge, incredible uplift of what we used to use when we were agents. But the truth is, we've been out of the game for a long time, and we really rely on our customers to sort of give us that feedback. And most of the time it's great because these are the things that we go, does it do this, guys? And we say, no, but it should. And that's really great because we get our development team involved. Sometimes our development team will actually want to speak to our customers because they get that kind of Chinese whispers effect. And then those things actually get delivered, and we release things every single week. So their features could be in play within 3 weeks on our development cycle, which is typically 3 weeks. So pretty cool when you can actually have that influence with a tech company that really listens to its clients.
If you'd like to find out more about KeyWhere, you can do so on our website at reapit.com/foundations/partners. And if you're interested in installing the app, all you need to do is contact your customer success manager. As with every app in the app market, installation just takes seconds. And that's all for this episode. I hope you found it useful. Till next time.